Hi everyone! I bought this hallway table at the tip for $25, thinking it was solid wood, but it was actually MDF, and somebody had put a horrible black stain on top of the laminate or veneer on the MDF, so I ended up having to scrape it. The crud cutter that I tried to clean it with initially just ended up making a big mess, stained everything black. So ended up scraping it, the top of it, and then used 80 grit sandpaper to try and get as much of the stain off as I could. It did seem to do the job. Also used a sanding sponge for these little areas on the side of the drawer, which helped quite a lot. I did learn a few things from this experience that in future I will not be buying MDF again, and also I've learned now how to check the difference between MDF and wood, because I honestly thought this was wood when I first looked at it, but obviously I was wrong. So ended up sanding the whole thing, fixed the legs that were a little bit loose, just tightened those screws that were in there on the sides. Luckily the legs of the table are solid wood, so those I did not sand because I'm using chalk paint. I did also learn from this experience that I should have probably gone over it with 120 grit and then 240 afterwards, just to really smoothen out that MDF. There were a few rough patches left behind afterwards that I had to paint over, but it didn't end up looking too bad. I don't really notice it, and I'm quite OCD, so yeah, but next time, and especially if it's going to be solid wood, I'll definitely be doing it properly so that it looks really beautiful with a smooth finish. I used Rust-Oleum chalked ultra matte paint in this beautiful charcoal color. I did give it 2 coats, obviously waiting for the first coat to dry in between. It did dry very quickly, which I liked, and it also did darken in color after I put a top coat on, which you will see coming up shortly. I stupidly decided to start painting these legs on the floor, but then you can see I did realize halfway through that I was being an idiot, and I moved it up onto the top of the workbench and continued to paint it there, which was obviously a lot easier on my back and my knees. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, can't really sit on the floor for long periods of time. So yeah, I gave the top of the table its first coat. You can actually see in this shot that I should have sanded the table a little bit more, but the paint did stick quite nicely to the top of the table. Here is the Rust-Oleum chalked matte clear top coat. It's also water-based. It dried super quickly. It was actually very cathartic applying this. What I did notice with this is I don't think it's the paint's fault. It's my fault for not sanding the MDF properly from the beginning. But after it dried, it did leave a few streak marks where the top coat actually removed the paint underneath. And that horrible black stain came through a little bit on the front of the hallway table. You can actually see there in the left hand side where the drawer would fit in, some of that black shining through. So that was a little bit disappointing. I am going to repaint that at some stage and hope for the best, but for now it's going in my own house, so I'm not too worried about it. If I was reselling this, I would definitely paint all of that again and start from scratch, but because I'm not, it's for me, I can handle it. I can live with that streaking for now. I took some knobs that I had off another chest of drawers and replaced them on the front of the drawer that came with this hallway table. The ones that were on there were also just wooden little knobs stained black, and I did not feel like having to sand them down, but also this gives it a bit more of a modern look. So we had to cut the screws a little bit shorter, polish them, and they ended up looking quite beautiful. And here is the finished result. I'm very happy with it. It looks a lot better than it did. Apart from those streaks that are there that came through with the top coat, I'm quite happy with how it looks in my house, and definitely an upcycle if you ask me. Thanks so much. Bye. Till next time.